All right, hi, it's Andy, and today we're going to talk just a little bit about running and the running warm-up. As we know, the body does 5 things. It pushes, it pulls, it squats, it hinges, and it carries. Running really is just a series of jumps, which makes it technically a squat. It's just jumping over and over against off one foot and then the other and then the other and so on. So when we're going to look at running just as a squatting movement, what makes it a squat is that the ankles, the knees, and the hips all work together and they bend at various points in the movement to be able to allow the little jump to take place. So the first thing we're just going to talk about when we run is that it's very common when we walk, and as we should, to walk from our heel to our midfoot to our toe, right? So as we walk like this. When it comes to running, we don't so much want to drive our foot into the ground for the same reason that we wouldn't want to jump off of our heels. We can't jump this way, we have to jump off the balls of our feet. So when we talk about running, we're going to introduce a few drills that will both warm our bodies up to run as well as help to start to create efficient movement and efficient form in our running. So that is going to include helping us to be able to run in such a way that we're not driving our heels down into the ground and then transferring to our midfoot and then leaving off of our forefoot. It's going to allow us to hopefully, as we continue to practice, land more into our midfoot or even a little further forward and push off so that we can start to jump this way as opposed to have to run and do one of those things, driving off our heel. It just takes more time and it's less efficient. So we're going to teach 3 movements called a high knee, an A-skip, and a butt kick. And at the end of this, we'll do a 4th bonus move that's not listed right now in our warm-up, but one that we can do as we begin to learn how to put those together. So in a running stride, there are really 3 components. There are 3 parts. The first one is the high knee, right? When somebody runs, the leg has to come up. The second part, the foot has to come down and touch the ground. And then the third part of the stride, the foot comes back, almost kick the butt, and then it starts back over. So we start to have this wheel kind of movement pattern start to begin. We have this wheel created. Essentially, that's what we want to do here as we teach this warm-up. So the first movement is a high knee. Before we talk about that though, we need to talk about form. The way we're going to do this is with our hands and our fingers. We're going to take our index fingers, put them on our thumbs. The other 3 are just going to hang down on the pads of our hands here. From that position, holding that, you should be able to think, I can hold like a saltine cracker in my hands without breaking it. Even when you're running as hard as you can, you don't want to squeeze it. You just want to keep them very loose and no tension in your hands. When we run, lactic acid builds up. And it'd be a shame if we had extra lactic acid, extra burning take place because we were extra tense in parts of our body that didn't need to be. So for our hands, just nice and loose, very gentle, index and fingers on the thumbs. The other part is that we're going to have a 90-degree angle in our arms, just about 90 degrees. Okay, that remains the whole time. We're not going to run like this. We're going to run like this. The 90-degree always stays. Okay? And the other part that we need to pay attention to is our shoulders. Sometimes when we're running, it's easy to get tense and squeeze our shoulders up really tight. As we're running, we want to be almost bouncy, right? We want to let our shoulders bounce as we go. So we're not creating any tension that's creating that lactic acid. We don't want any of that, so we're just going to stay nice and loose as we run, right? So as we do this first drill, the high knee, we're going to take our fingers, put them together, shoulders are loose, 90-degree angle in the arms. And as you do this, I'm going to have you travel maybe 10 yards, not a long distance. You could do this across your living room. But here, just so I stay on camera, I'm going to do it just in place. All right, so on the high knee, just like it sounds, 90-degree angles in the arms, and we're going to go straight up and down. Easy as that. Landing on the balls of our feet, straight up and down, 90-degree angles in the arms. Okay? The second drill we do is called the A-skip. Now we've already done that high knee part, so now we have to practice the part where we touch the ground. So this is where the foot comes down and strikes the ground underneath us off the ball of our feet. Because our knee is going to travel higher in this one than it did in the high knee drill, we're going to allow our opposite arm to come up as well. Again, as it comes up, we're going to let keep our 90-degree angle in our arms, never letting that go, but we're going to let our hands come up to about eye level as we do this drill. Okay? So on the A-skip, here we go. We're going to just hop up. Right? Still popping off the ground, off the ball of the foot, and we're going to just slightly travel. So as you do this, you're going to try and do, say, 40 or 50 touches to the ground over 10 yards. Okay, the third drill. So now that we've had the high knee, we've had the A skip or the ground contact, the second part of the movement. The third one is the butt kick. Okay, easy as it sounds. I'm gonna do this standing straight up. The way I want you to do it though, when you do this drill, is I want you to be able to stand tall and let yourself fall forward. As you lean forward when we're running, we want to keep that tall chest and momentum leaning forward. One mistake people make, especially people that overstride, stepping too far out, or going off the heel, is that they'll run and they'll start to fold at their waist. That puts strain on the low back. If you run and you have pain in your low back, oftentimes it's a result of overstriding, putting your heel into the ground, and leaning forward. So we don't want to hinge forward, we want to lean forward. Again, I'm not going to demonstrate that just so I stay on camera, but I'm going to stay tall, 90-degree angles in the arms, and you're just going to whip your heel off your butt. That's this. Okay? That's the third one. When we put it all together, here's the fourth bonus movement. What you need to do is find a wall, anything you can prop yourself up against. From that position, high knee, right? It's a ground strike, heel, butt kick. Okay, it comes up. You should strike your butt hard enough that when you do, it brings your knee straight back up. So, foot's hanging right beneath the knee, ground contact, whip your heel off your butt and up. And then you can start to create that wheel. Okay, so what this is going to do, this is going to prepare you to run. This is our running warm-up that we're going to do every time before we run. However, it is also a great way to practice improving your running efficiency. As your running becomes more efficient, you get to go faster with less work, reduce the risk of injury, and that's everything we like to do. So warm up well, go run hard, and we'll see you soon.